Hello everyone and welcome to St. Andrews Institute of Technology and Management, Gurgaon, Delhi NCR. St. Andrews Institute of Technology and Management is the best college in entire northern India as the fastest growing college of the country. It has very nice and beautiful infrastructure and it is situated by lush green environment out of the hustle and bustle busy noise of the city. This is one of the best college providing best facilities to the students. It is state of art infrastructures. There are a variety of courses here in which you can look forward to, like BTech, BBA, PCA, and soon upcoming with architecture, MBA, and law. This is one of the finest college in the country in terms of education, in terms of student providing student welfare, in terms of the faculty. It is world class. This is the best career choice that you will make yourself by choosing this college. The subject that we will discuss in this video is System Analysis and Design. The code is BBAN 602 and this is for BBA 6 semester subject according to the syllabus given by MDU University Rohtak. And we shall be discussing the following topics in it, that is data dictionary and decision tables. I am Shalini from CSE department and I shall be taking you forward in the video. Okay, now what is a data dictionary? See, a data dictionary means it is a dictionary of the data. So, what it will contain? It will contain further information and data about the data. The data about data you called metadata. That is why it is written a data dictionary contains metadata, that is data about the database. It is very important as it contains information such as what is in the database, who is allowed to access it, and where is the database physically stored. The users of the database, they usually cannot interact with the data dictionary except the database administrators, because only he will hold the right to access the data dictionary. So it contains five information in the data dictionary, five kinds, like it will have the name of all the database tables and their schemas. It will have details about all the tables in the database, like their owners, the security constraints, and when they were created, etc. So physical information about the tables, such as where they are stored and how they are stored, right? Cable constraint like primary key attribute, foreign key information, etc. And information about the data views that are visible. So this is a data dictionary. This is an example in here and it contains the employee details. See, it has an employee number. The data type is integer, the field size is 10 and it's a unique ID of each employee, right? So it has given an example also. So what kind of name field has? It has a data type text. The field capacity size is 20, so you cannot enter anything other than more than 20. So it's describing the name of the employee. Example, David Huston. Date of birth will contain date and time. So field size is 10, it will contain date of birth of the employee. Example, 8/3/1995. The phone number will have definitely be an integer value and the maximum size displayed is 10, and it will have the phone number of the employee. So this is an example that is shown of a data dictionary, like how it will contain the data. Okay, so there are two kinds. Usually they're not asked, but still, like, it is very simpler. You can really understand it in just one minute. So you have an active data dictionary and you have a passive data dictionary. So what is an active data dictionary? See, if the structures of the database or its specification change at any point of time, it should be reflected in the data dictionary. So this is the responsibility of the database management system in which the data dictionary resides. So whose responsibility it is? Database management system responsibility is that it should reflect any kind of change at any point in the data dictionary, like actively, right? So it is automatically updated by the database management system, that is the DPS, DBMS, whenever any changes are made in the database. So the DBMS is like that it will automatically show all the changes in the data dictionary, right? So this is an active data dictionary and is it self-updating. So it is automatically updating. And quite opposite to it is the passive one. So how it is the passive dictionary, how is it defined? So it is not as useful and easy to handle because why? Because you have to maintain it separately. So a passive dictionary is maintained separately to the database whose contents are stored in the dictionary, right? So that means if the database is modified, the database dictionary is not automatically updated which is quite opposite to as it was happening in active database. So it has to be done manually to match the database, and this needs careful handling or else the database and data dictionary are out of sync, right? So you really need a lot of time and effort to maintain it. Next we come to decision table. Okay, see, this is as the name suggests, so it's a table and it is helping you choose something, right? So it's a tool wherein you can use in both testing and requirements management. So it's a structured exercise to formulate requirements when dealing with complex business rules. So anytime that you have complex business rules, so you when you have whenever that you have to deal with, you actually have take the help of decision tables. So they are used to model complicated logic, right? So anything which is complicated written will actually be easily modified by it. So they can make it easy to see that all possible combinations of condition have been considered, and when conditions are missed, it is easy to see this. So let's take an example of an ATM customer. So okay, so a customer requests a cash withdrawal, and one of the business rules of the ATM is that it will pay the amount if the customer has sufficient funds in the account, right? And this happens in practical also, or if the customer has the credit grant. So only if you have the fund or you are having the permission of a credit grant, then that it will display you the required money, the amount of money actually that you're requesting. So this simple example of the business rule is quite complicated to describe in text, so a decision table will make it clearer to understand. See, so how it is going, see, in the decision tables are you have usually have T and F, that is true or false, and this will be a rule in the logic. So it will unique combination of all the circumstances that will result in the action. So the table above contains three different business rules, and one of them is withdrawal is granted if request amount is covered by the balance. It is normal to create at least one test case per column which results in full coverage of all business. So we see it one by one. So what is the condition? The condition is withdrawal amount is less than equal to balance. So if it is allowing you, then it will be true. So credit will be granted, that is no condition. So if so this is the second condition, so it will be true, like if it is not anything that is happening. So when withdrawal is granted, so in case of R1, when the withdrawal it is true will become true, and in the credit grade granted also it will be R2 will be true. So both situation will be, so anything other than any situation that is happening other than R3, that is these two are not there, so it will be not be granted, right? So only if withdrawal is less than balance, and only if you have a credit grant is permission is there, then you will get a withdrawal grant, right? So these were your condition and this was the action that took place. So what is the advantage of a decision table? See, it makes it possible to detect combination of condition that would otherwise not have been found. So you actually look at a various number of combinations and see that okay, this is done, this is done, like this is okay. The first one is withdrawal amount is less than equal to balance, it will grant. The next condition is withdrawal amounts is not equal to the balance, that is it is greater than the, like you do not have the balance but still you have grant, then also it will be true. If you have neither balance nor grant, then it is false. So it helps you combine all these decisions, that is why it is written here that possible to detect combination of condition that you would not have otherwise found, right? So this becomes clearer with the help when you write it in a table, and all are illogical or something that is hard to see when requirements are only expressed in steps, which is very correct. Like, so anything which is not written in tabular form is illogical kind of, you really cannot understand and make out anything out of that. But wherein there is a disadvantage also, that this is not complete equivalent to complete test cases, like containing step by step instruction of what to do in what order. So this is not complete. So when this level of detail is required, the decision table has to be further detailed into test cases. So you will actually combine and see various things. So you can actually make out things in a logical way, but still to retrieve it, and you really need test cases out of this. So that is a disadvantage. Okay, now see, decision tables are used in all situations where outcome depends on combination of different choices, which we have really seen. And this is usually very often in many systems. There are tons of business rules where decision table add a lot of value, right? So they really help you out with proceeding further. So there is important question are, what is data dictionary and what are decision tables? I try to keep it very simple. I hope you understood it. So that's all for today. Thank you so much.